Hello, everyone. I'm really pleasure to be here today and to be inspired by all of you, and I'm expecting to have a little bit inspiration for all of you. And first of all, please sorry for my English and sorry for those of you that would be harmed by my imperfect English. I will try to do my best. So uh, today I want to talk to you about layer three solutions, and I want to start with a little bit disclaimer here. I know that layer 3 seems to be a little bit provoking term into the community because uh, unfortunately the ecosystem is um, really full of buzzwords that are generated by some kind of malicious marketers, and terms like layer 2 or layer 3 are sounds a little bit provoking, but today, I'm asking you to shift your focus from the marketing to the technologies and maybe some kind of technical visions, and to give me the possibility to talk about it. And from my side, I declare to all of you that during my presentation, there would not be any project promotion or any marketing. Eh, eh, Maybe a few kinds of tech talks. So let's start. First of all, I want to I want to focus your attention on the fact that uh, crypto crypto ecosystem is not uh, is aimed to grow very fast, not only in fintech solutions but also in some kind of other services, and the ecosystem is consequently trying to adapt new business models into it and push all of them on some kind of decentralized rails and try to push the services. And with moderate success, it may be done. So we can sequence from this fact that most common technologies and protocol would, in some point of time, would transform into some kind of core technologies that need to be standardized, need to be free to use by almost any player or almost any project in ecosystem. So when I talking about protocols and technologies, I mean no projects and no platforms, because I do believe in free software and free protocols on a low level, not commercial level at all. So the next fact that IT professionals are aiming to valuable their time, and they are trying to not to repeat themselves, and that valuable technologies tend to classify and standardize kind of core technologies. So all of us knows this key concept, that especially the second point, that don't roll your own crypto, because it can be really harmful in case if some kind of malicious actor finds the security vulnerabilities of your system. So reasons why not to do this, because maintaining significant of mostly similar ideas is really hard, and it's really aiming to keep them all secure and to keep them all bulletproof. But how about these states? Why the community is trying to implement their own state channels? Or how about atomicity concepts that we can find in different projects today? And how about inventing sharding, that blockchains that are trying to implement some performance optimization due to sharding implementation? And how about consensuses that are trying to be implemented there and there? They're almost never are perfect to fit some kind of common needs ecosystem as well. So in my vision, it's really clear that in some point of time, the community will grow enough to be able to make several models of most popular solutions, for example, consensus, maybe crypto technologies, or maybe some kind of other stuffs or algorithms that would create a core corpus of technologies that would be used by the community and ecosystem as well. And in my vision, the first candidates here are consensus algorithms. For example, popular implementation for several most popular incentivization models. Maybe some kind of cryptography concepts, data processing concepts. I mean that algorithms that are involved into blockchain to some kind process the data into it. For example, mutable functions, mutable databases that are growing today. And also there is a level 2 solutions that are tailored to scale L1 solutions and to bring new level of performance for them. And in my vision, they are really the first candidate for some kind of standardization here. Another fact that each one ecosystem is trying to optimize its internal processes and to fit some kind of business scenarios. So personally, I don't believe into platforms or services or some kind of solutions that are declaring to be able to process almost any kind of business mechanics on top of it, because it seems more like marketing and less like tax or less like real world solutions there. The consequence here that ecosystems that are doing all the things on top of it potentially will struggle for efficiency in comparison with specialized solutions. So I'm expecting that in nearest future, the crypto ecosystem would use some kind of standardized blockchain ecosystems to fork them and to run some kind of services on top of them. But in the same time, all of them would share some kind of common logic into the ecosystem as well. Layer 2 solutions, in case of success, and this is really valuable here, are really closer to the end user than L1. So at some point of time, it is really expected that layer 2 solutions would play the role of entry point into the ecosystem. Because if I have some kind of wallet in my pocket that is really fast and works with some kind of layer 2 solution, I would use this one instead of wallet that is attached to some kind of L1 solution that is really slow. So the big picture looks like this. In case if we have some kind of layer 1 solution, and layer 2 solution is a platform that tries to boost operations on top of L1 solution. But the real picture at the moment today looks like this. We have several different blockchain ecosystems. Each one of them has its own layer 2 solution, but they are actually not interoperable. And the very real picture looks like this, because we have some kind of crypto economy somewhere in the industry, and we have traditional financial ecosystems that are almostly not integrated one into another. So this looks like a problem. I do believe that you know this datagram. It's OSI model simplified to the internet model, so-called internet model. So here we have application that processing their data. We have transport level for some kind of packets and segments, internet and link, and all of this forming some kind of model for distributed data processing and is used in internet. So let's try to adapt current configuration of the crypto unity on top of this model. So L1 systems, blockchains are located on an application level because it's obvious they are processing the data of the ecosystem. And the L2 solutions are responsible for assets transfers and for values transfer, and declared to do this really fast and maybe in some kind time predictable manner. And we also have a TCP that is responsible for low-level network traffic processing. But in fact, most of current L2 protocols are not providing atomicity, not durability of operation. So comparison with TCP is almost every time is impossible. It's more like current L2 solutions should be compared to the UDP that makes you able to send some kind of assets, but you never know if it reach the destination. And another valuable fact here that most of protocols that are powering level 2 solutions today are operating with transactions of layer 1. So for example, Lightning is operating with transactions of Bitcoin, and Raiden is operating with transactions from Ethereum, and they are not interoperable because of internal format of the data of their level 1 solutions. So the consequence here that L1 transactions formats are incompatible, and L2 are not interoperable as well. Final. Layer 3. Why this name, and what should be done by the community to be able to grow enough to reach this milestone? Actually, layer 2 it's almost a buzzword. This approach can be called as you want. This only tries to say you that we need some kind of solution that would be able to play the tiny, low-level role, and would all of the community the ways to combine several L1 or L2 solutions into the common area. So if we are looking to the previously mentioned network model, I mean that level 3 solution could be used could be compared with the internet, with today's internet, because transactions can be atomic and interoperable, and this makes it possible to launch transactions that would be transferred from various ecosystems into another ecosystems, and to be atomic and durable in the same time. So there are several constraints for these technologies. First of them is that layer 3 transactions should have universal format, so it would be able to so external environments would be able to generate them, process into some kind of layer 3 layer, and then move them back to the layer 2, but of another ecosystem. The next expectation that layer 3 solution should be responsible for atomicity between various environments, and this is a key things of the whole idea of layer 3. And the next expectation that layer 3 should play the role of TCP for Web3. If you know, TCP is transport protocol that guarantees the atomicity of the operation in the network during the sending. So, in my vision, layer 3 solutions have possibility to be some kind of entry point into the ecosystem, into the cryptography ecosystem for various services that are included into it. And the real Web3 picture could look like this, where we have some kind of various solutions that are using their L1, L2, and maybe classic for us today, Web2 solutions that are all combined with some kind tiny and low-level protocol that makes them interoperable one and each other. So the main thing, I think that community should unite for developing this low-level common available solution that would be able to process assets and values in atomic and interoperable way. And why these contacts are here? It's not advertising, it's an entry point to this. I'm asking all of you to join here and to try to and to push the community to build this kind of solution, because in my vision we really need it today. So thank you for your attention, and I'm open for your questions.
Thank you. Who wants to ask tough questions to Dima?
Thank you for your presentation. So you are talking about standardization. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm working for the ISO TC307. So we are at the moment making an international standard for a GLT system like blockchain and other distributed system. So what do you mean exactly, in your terminology about standards, try to standards current distributed system? Because for me, standardization, it's the way, to present and to describe a technical, system for business development, and also for technical guys. So all people have to have the same vision of a distributed system. So here, the description of standardization for me, it's just not very clear. So
Okay.
what will be good for you, it's to clarify it. So this is the first question, and the last question, it will be, you are classifying, all the current distributed system in terms of layers. So you have layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Okay, but this classification, I think that it's just it's a good representation, in my opinion, of the current ecosystem. But the interoperability of each distributed system, like Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum and so forth, have to be there is at the moment some projects that are working on that.
I know them.
You just point out atomic swap, but there is also other protocols. So my question will be, for you in this exercise, what will be the process to work with all current blockchain community to start on a global protocol, L3 protocol?
Okay, so I will try to cover these questions. So I will start from the second one. Yes, I know about the atomic swap, and I'm really believe you all know what these technologies makes possible to do, but it's not powerful enough. It's slow, because atomic swap is relying on internal logic of one ecosystem and another ecosystem, and the fastest operation of two of these ecosystems is predicted by the lowest one from I mean, you guess, in case if we have Bitcoin and Ethereum, we would we would be forced to wait until operation would be done on a Bitcoin, and it is 10 minutes in the best way. I'm talking about the solution that makes operations flow really faster, maybe in thousands periods faster than it is possible to do into some kind of layer 1 solutions, because today's ecosystems knows that layer 1 solutions are great for storing data, for keeping them secure, but not to make operation as fast as it is expected by the community, by the ecosystem as well. So that's why layer 2 solutions are created, and their mission is to boost the performance. So, but on the layer 2 solutions, the atomic swap is almost impossible, because there are some internal limitations in terms of operation security and atomicity and durability of the network, etc., etc. So layer 3, it's an attempt to respond to the community, to the ecosystem, to try to unite all the ecosystem players around this problem of atomicity and mutual interoperability between several independent ecosystems. And your question about standardization, what I mean behind it. First of all, it expects that community would have the algorithms that are able to do this kind of stuff. And then we are talking about documentation, we are talking about some kind of low-level specifications that are describing how these technical stuff should work in various situations. For example, RFC for TCP or HTTP. They are all describing the technology that makes the magic understandable by most of people.
But this work takes time, you know. So at the moment there is some organization like ISO, like Web3, and other, you know, IETF. Many are trying to standardize, you know, the blockchain and distributed system. So I think that it takes times, but which one will be probably for me the standard? I think it will be the organization that understand that behind, you know, a standard, you have existing business use case that you can develop.
The community can be this organization, I believe. Community is able to create the process and to maintain it until this process would be done. And you are right that this process is very long, but it would be finished as it would be started.
Okay.
Thank you. Other questions?
Other questions? Tough technical questions.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. So just to remark, the fact that you reverse the order compared to the OZ model, it could be a kind of confusion because with the OZ model, you start from layer 1, which is the physical layer, to the layer 7.
Yes, it's now not an OSI model, it's a simplified internet model.
Yeah, so you said that you want to go to level 3, which means that you don't intend the blockchain to just to be an application of the web, and you want to change maybe something like the protocols, like TLS or other things which are very basic in the internet, and it's
actually this solution is our global aim to reach some kind of low-level, tiny solution that is responsible for operations.
Well, it's not very clear to me what kind of thing we want to change, because by the internet history, there is these IETF or other standards which are building, and the cryptography is very difficult. And so it's also the computer science. So
can you imagine that TCP is not invented nowadays?
No, it's not my purpose. My purpose is that how deep we want to go to these internet layers to change something for the blockchain, and which needs to be more concrete, because we are right now building on top of the internet with all the technology that is already there, and also on top of computer science.
These technologies are not mutually excluded. For example, if you are talking to some kind of layer 1 solution, some kind of blockchain by some kind of HTTP API, it's okay. But in case if this layer 1 solution has its own layer 2 solution, you can talk to it and reach the layer 1 solution as well through the layer 2 solution. Layer 3 aims to be the same entry point as layer 2 plays for layer 1, but it makes you able to reach not only one layer 1 solution, but almost every blockchain ecosystem that is interoperable with this kind of network.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Good.
You point out something very interesting.
you.
This is very interesting because we when you are classifying, you know, the protocol, for me it's telecommunication protocol like TCP, UDP. So you
Yep.
just address here you and
Most of all.
now blockchain, it's you know, it's not only it's not a transfer protocol, it's a transaction protocol. Some people are calling
Sure.
it like this, and I think that on the exercise, sometimes we can think that the layer 3 that you are pointing out could be, you know, smart contracts. For me, it was my first, you know, understanding when you presented, you know, the layer 3, because some classifications say, okay, you have Bitcoin, it's layer 1, you know, so it's a transaction protocol. You have Ethereum, it's layer 2, you have smart contracts, and you have
Actually, no, Ethereum is layer 1 because it's a blockchain ecosystem.
Yes, but the smart contract, it's a new layer, you know,
No,
on top of
are
Ethereum.
Are the component of their layer 2. The Ethereum's layer 2 solution is Raiden. It heavily uses smart contracts to verify operations on top of it. But in this internal network, transactions are processed without any involving of Ethereum itself. And from time to time, the Raiden collects their transaction, pushes up to the Ethereum, and they are validated there.
Yes, but by the way, it's like the same, you know, like Lightning networks. So I think that some people are classifying it, and this is the need of standardization, because we need to hear all people to understand what is a layer 1, 2, 3. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you as well.
Can I ask for the last question, if there is a question? No? Okay, well, give Dima a warm round of applause from GEO Protocol.
Thank you very much.